Cars franchise is my favorite franchise of all time. I think I made it pretty obvious at this point. But however, there are several versions of Cars really outside of the movies, like games, the toys, the diecasts, and I have plenty of those. And of course, we have the Flash games that are mostly no longer available to play because, well, Adobe Flash Player has long since died all the way back in 2020. It's been a few years since 2020 now. That's actually pretty insane. But now, I think it would be a good idea to reminisce about the older times of Flash games when they used to be so popular and Adobe Flash is actually still kicking. And so without further ado, I decided to combine both of these concepts together of talking about older Flash games and the Cars series and talk about older Cars Flash games. So, let's do this. Cars 2 World Grand Prix Races is the first game that I will be talking about in this video. This game is simply a repeat of the events of the Cars 2 movie, but instead of the spy stuff and the racing, it's mostly just about the racing. Actually, it's simply just about the racing in general, the World Grand Prix. And you get to race on mostly every track from the movie, like Tokyo, Italy, London, and even like Radiator Springs, I think, because it's been a while since I've last played it, and it's since been like shut down, I guess, since you can't really play it traditionally anymore. So yeah, this game features all the World Grand Prix racers. This includes Lightning McQueen, obviously, Francesco Bernoulli, Shu Todoroki, Miguel Camino, like Nigel Gearsley, Carla Veloso, Max Chanel, Raul Sarul, and yeah, all that stuff and the like. So basically, now I have the gameplay. The gameplay is simply you turn around these different types of tracks and stuff, and then you collect these stars, which allows you to boost your points up more. And you also just have to avoid certain obstacles like these silver chrome things. I'm assuming those are simple like bumps on the road and stuff like that, or maybe even potholes. And also you got to avoid these different slug-looking things, which I guess is just, maybe oil or some kind of fucking liquid, I don't know. Yeah, and there's also actually oil you have to avoid in this game. But that's basically the extent of this one. All you really have to do is just beat the tracks and unlock new racers and characters, and that's essentially it. And that's what I like about this game the most. It simply adapts the races from the Cars 2 film and just makes it into a simple, turn-in game. And I also really like the perspective of the camera where it's actually up, as opposed to Cars 2, the video game, where you're also just, freezing forward the camera, and at least behind the racer or the car, not this upward top-down game. I actually really like that idea for this type of game. So yeah. Yeah, sorry if this certain section was pretty short. It's just that this game is actually kind of barren when you really think about it, but still very nostalgic to me, in my opinion. Now this is a true classic, Cars Desert Dash, the very first Cars 1 themed Flash game in this video anyway. But anyways, the reason why this is such a classic game is because of the general feeling in general. The game is kind of cheaply made, to be honest, and literally the game's sprites of the Cars characters are just the toy diecast themselves, which honestly just adds to the charm of this game, to be honest with you, because I really like how this game and the style and the feeling in general of nostalgia is just flowing over like me and stuff like that, because I remember playing this game so many times back in 3rd grade per se, because that was the grade I mostly remember from my youth in school and my adolescent years anyways. But still, as for the gameplay itself, well, it just consists of you playing as Lightning McQueen, because you can't play as any other character in this game. And the other characters that are in this game actually are Chick Hicks, Snot Rod, Boost, the King / Strip Weathers, and yeah, that's about it. Yeah, and just like the previous game I already mentioned, Cars 2 World Grand Prix Races, you can only really play as a few characters in this game, but still, very nostalgic. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Really, these games are pretty simple in concept, but they're still super nostalgic feeling, and that's great. Now here we have Lego Grand Prix, another Cars 2-esque type game. This game is also fairly simple as you play as the Cars 2 characters, including Francesco, like Holly Shitwell, McQueen, Mater, Finn, and all that stuff, but instead, they're all Legos. Let's go! Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll calm down a little bit. But anyways, oh god. Okay, now I'm back, but now this game. The gameplay consists of you driving throughout the levels as these Lego-style characters here, in which you drive throughout the tracks and avoid certain obstacles like, hazards or other traffic driving by. But yeah, you could even actually sort of upgrade your cars, actually, as you could upgrade their tires and their different performances as well, making them faster and more easier to, hold their grip and actually, win levels faster and beat the time. But as for the graphics themselves, well, that's again, like most of these browser games I've talked about so far, they're pretty simple looking, and they simply take heavy inspiration of the models from the actual Cars Lego toys and stuff like that released around that time. And with Cars still releasing Lego stuff to this day, it's pretty surreal to see these types of designs so long ago and so far in the future in 2024 now. And as I said before, this game is pretty much unplayable now, unless if you search some kind of dark web or something, but other than that, you can't actually access this one anymore, which it is kind of sad because I really do remember playing this game quite a few times before, and I remember really liking it, but it does get pretty repetitive over time, much like the rest of these games I already talked before in this video. Cars 2 Chrome Missions is a game where you play as the spy characters from Cars 2, mostly Finn McMissile, Holly Shitwell, Mater, because he was a spy, and actually Rod the Twerk Redline, even though he was killed in the movie by the Lemons and by Professor after the bathroom scene and stuff. But anyways, now let's talk about the gameplay itself and the overall game itself. You can either play as a rookie, agent, or a professional type of spy, because that's the hardest difficulty. And basically, yeah, you can play as the different spy characters and you defeat the different enemies, pretty much just the Lemons, as you traverse throughout London, Tokyo, and Italy. Honestly, this is another top-down view racer, and I really like these type of games because you really get to see what they're like, actually driving. Instead of just being in front of you, you actually get to see on the top of the sky, like the sort of perspective. And that's honestly pretty cool, and I like that. But anyways, now so the graphics themselves, I actually do pretty like them a little bit more than the previous games because they're actual different, alternate designs for the characters and the enemies, especially different spies too. I honestly just really think it fits pretty well. Also, I remember playing this a lot back in my adolescent years in school. Once again, 3rd grade, because that's what I mostly remember out of my adolescent school years, besides kindergarten, of course. But yeah, this game is pretty cool, but you can't actually play it, I think, anymore. Doc's Time Trial is a game where you just have to beat the record of the time, basically, and with Lightning McQueen, of course, in his Cars 1 design. And the controls are simply the 2 mini arrows on the far right of your keyboard. Now, personally, I do like this game, but in my opinion, it's kind of the more barren type of games, as the concept is pretty simple, but there are certain things I do like about it, like the little animation of McQueen driving. It's actually really cool looking, even though how simple it is, like I said throughout the previous games in this video. But yeah, that's about it. We're kind of going to be lightning speeding round, like a lightning round, haha. All of these different mini flash cars games that don't really have much content like the previous ones, but I will be talking about them briefly here. Not to say that they're bad or anything, but they're just kind of barren anyways. But let's go. Lightning Round. Extreme Off-Road Racing, Flo's V8 Stop and Go, Mater to the Rescue, Tractor Tipping, Korchenko, Radiator Springs Racing, and Music Maker. Yeah, those are all the games I just want to talk about for now, but there are some more I will talk about in other videos for future reasons. And that was the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed going to memory lane with me, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.